So can I start? Okay, so let us start. Computer network vulnerability. So first of all, we have to understand what is computer network. So what is computer network? So network means network can be anything. Network can be anything like it is a connectivity of different sources. Okay, so in case of computer network means connectivity between different computers. So in that computer networks, different types of weakness can be arise. Okay, so in those by using those weakness, different types of attacks could be possible. Okay, so first of all, we have to understand what are the vulnerabilities that can be occurred in a computer networks, and then we'll understand that how we can analyze those problems, those vulnerabilities, and after that we can understand that how we can mitigate those problems. Okay, so you can see that sources of vulnerabilities. So what are the source possible? So there is no actually definite list of sources. Actually, the vulnerability, the weakness could be anything, could be anywhere. Okay, so among those most frequently mentioned sources, most frequently mentioned source on which the vulnerability could appear. So there are some sources available, like design flaws, poor security management, incorrect implementation, okay, internet technology vulnerabilities, nature of intruder activities, the difficulty of fixing vulnerable systems, the limits of effectiveness of reactive solutions, and social engineering. So like design flaws means in software designing, there could be some problems during design. There could be some drawbacks during the designs. So using that drawbacks, the attacker could attack in the networks. Then poor security management, like in any software company, there is a management team and there is a team who builds the software developing team. So both must know about those security issues, how to implement those security things. So security management is very important aspect in any software company, because sometimes, most of the times, we like we don't know about those policies and all. So we have to know about those policies, and according to those we have to uh, implement those policies. Then incorrect implementation, there is also one more thing, because in software development, we know that softwares are developed in modules. Okay, so after implementing each and every modules, we have to test each and every modules separately. So as we know that there are different types of testing are there. Okay, so with development, testing is very important also, because first we have to do unit testing for each and every module. Then after testing unit, we have to integrate those modules, and then we have to test the interface in between different modules. So because if we don't check each and every module separately, and after integration, if we don't check the interface, then there could be some problems in between those interfaces, uh, which we could skip. Okay, so we have to look through each and everything separately. Then internet technology vulnerabilities. So as we know that internet is a vast technology. So there are many more possibilities of vulnerabilities. So we have to understand those things, like the vastness of internet technology and how we can protect our data, our most important data from those problems. Then the nature of intruder activities. Okay, so we have to understand that what are the things the hackers could do. So we have to things like that, like the hackers. So what they can do, what are the weakness that we have in our system, and how we can check those things. Then the difficulty of fixing vulnerability system. So vulnerable system, it is by analyzing those problems in a system, then we have to fix those problems. So for that we have to understand each and every thing, what are the different ways the problems could come, and what are the protocols, and in each and every protocols, what are the ports it is coming and all. So everything we have to understand, and according this we have to take the steps. Then limits of effectiveness of reaching solutions. So there are many types of vulnerabilities, and fixing those vulnerabilities, there are different types of solutions are also available. So we have to understand what solutions are applicable in which area, because different solutions are applicable in different areas. Okay, so we have to understand that which type of implementation are going to which part. Okay, then social engineering, like hackers and all, they always try to access, they always try to break your system. So we have to understand those things, like how those network how those social engineering takes place, and how we can uh, protect our system from those attacks. So here we can see that system vulnerability means what means weaknesses in software and hardware. So the weakness could be anywhere. It could be in a software, or it could be in hardware. It could be in a server or in client also. So that can exploit by a determined intruders to gain access. So the intruders could exploit your software, or they could be exploit your hardware to gain access to your system, and to your networks, and and shut down your network. Okay, so a system vulnerability is a condition actually. So a weakness of, or an absence of security procedure. So vulnerability, we can also say that it is a absence of security. Okay, so or what are the securities that we have to implement. uh, so we have to implement those security in a system, in a network. So without implementing this, the security issues will become. So it is a technical, physical, or other controls that could be exploited by a threat. Okay, so so it could be a technical issue, it could be physically, or other controls that could be exploited by the threat. Okay, so the intruders could be attack in any of these things, like in software or in hardware. So it could be a technical, physical, or any type of attacks. So we have to make sure which type of attack it is, and we have to understand that things. So mainly what are the ways that attack could be occur. So mainly there are three major factors contribute a great deal to software design flaws. So in a software design, there could be three major factors which is applicable, like human factors, then software complexity, and trustworthy software sources. Okay, so we'll discuss about these three things separately. So first is human factor, or poor software performance can be a result. So human factors means during the design of the software, there could be problems. So we have to understand those problems. So what type of human factors, human errors are there? So first we can see that memory lapses and attentional failures. So attentional failures and memory lapses means what? Suppose one software a developer building one software, and suppose without their attention, they could missing some lines of code, or there could be any errors, human errors, what we say, that human errors could be possible. So for a one single line of code, it could be a vulnerable, it make the software vulnerable. So for example, someone was supposed to have removed or add a line of code. Okay, so for a single line of code, it could be possible that the software becomes more vulnerable. So for that testing is very important thing. So or verified but did not because of simple forgetfulness. Then rush to finish. So most of the software companies, there is a pressure, okay, to complete any software in a due time. Okay, so all the developers are trying to complete this in a due time. So for that pressure, in a software design, there could be some problems, some vulnerabilities could be there. So the result of pressure most often from management, okay, to get the product on the market, either to cut the development cost. So to cut the development cost and to meet the client deadline, the management team of the software company put pressure on the developer, so they make that software try to meet their deadlines. So for that purpose, there could be some problems during the design phase. Then overconfidence and use of non-stand or no, and or untested algorithms. So sometimes there is the thing that I was talking about, that without testing any algorithms, we can't use that. So sometimes we use some test cases, some 2 or 3 test cases we have applied, and those test cases they passed, but we have to test that software that we have built in different types of environment. So it might be okay in Windows, but it is not working in Linux and all. So we have to test that software in different types of environment, in different types of possible test cases. Well, but test cases could be there are so many test cases. Okay, so test cases could be anything. There are so many. That is the problem. We have to identify which type of test cases we have to use, which type of test cases we have to provide to a software to understand, to find out the outputs. Okay, so before understanding whether the algorithm is properly working in that module of a software or not, we should not use that algorithms in that. So these are the human factors for which a software different types of problems could be arise in a software. Then software complexity. So software complexity means professional and non-professional who use software know the difference between software programming and hardware engineering. So because there is a line between software programming and hardware engineering, so every professional should understand that thing, that what is actually software development and what is actually hardware engineering. So it is in these differences that underline maybe of the causes of software failure. So these differences may due to that most of the person don't understand that in between lines of software and hardware engineering. So we have to understand that what is software engineering, how it is implemented into hardware and all. So in that software complexity, what are the factors are involved? We can see that complexity. So complexity means unlike hardware programming, in which it is easy to exhaust the possible outcomes, in hardware programming, we can easily uh, identify the problems, right? But in case of software, it is a large thing, it is a complex thing, because programs are very complex. So in that complexity, it is very hard to understand what are the actual if there is any problems, if there is an error occurs during development. So it is very hard to identify that problem. And one more thing is that during the development phase of software engineering, if we find the problems earlier stage of development, then it is very easy to identify, and the cost will be very less. But when the development phase is more increased, that afterwards, that finding the bugs and problems, it will be more costly, right? So Because of this, because of the program's complexity, it is very problematic to find out the problems. Okay, so unlike hardware programming, it is very easy. Suppose you can assume that like one tape recorder, if you put it inside, put it, if you put the plug into the socket, and if you switch on, and if the smoke comes, then it means that the hardware is completely wasted. But in case of software, it is not that much simple. So then another thing is that difficult testing. Testing is very difficult, as I have discussed that to find out the test cases, it is very difficult because there is a vast number of test case possible. As for example, suppose one calculator is there. So in a calculator, suppose we are testing a calculator. So there are many kind of possibilities that test cases we can generate, like 1 plus 2. So there are several test cases in class only we can generate, but we have to understand that which type of test cases, that boundary values we have to understand, which boundary values we have to provide and all. So these are the things for that some parts of the softwares become untested. So due to that problem, due to that vastness of the program, and due to that complexity of the program, so testing is very difficult, and bugs may remain in the software that without identifying. So that's the problem. Then age of programming, because programming nowadays is a very easy thing for most of the person can do programming, and they start their programming, but without any basic knowledge they started their programming. But before designing a software, it is very important to follow some protocols. Okay, so one new programmer, if they build a software, it will be not that much good if some who have prior knowledge about the protocols and how actually the development takes place. So that is one more thing, the fact that software program is very easy. So people can take little training and little education. By gaining those little education, they start development. So for that, errors, security errors could be occur in those type of softwares. Then misunderstanding of basic design specification. Obviously, that misunderstanding of basic design specification means, suppose in a design phase of a software, first we have to understand what are the needs of the user, what are the user needs. Based upon then that we acquire the specification, and then requirement analysis, then design phase, then testing phase, then deployment phase. So all those phases we have to do correctly. Okay, because if one phase we skip, then there could be problems occur. So so basic design you have to understand, actually basically how we should develop that software. Okay, so we should understand the basic specification, what actually user need, and based upon these needs, we have to, first of all, we have to design that algorithms, that step-by-step procedure, how we are going to design each and every modules, and after designing each and every modules, how we have to test those things, and test the every modules completely. Then after adjoining each and every modules, how we can test, then after system testing and all. So everything we have to understand. So these are the complexity occurred due to designing phase of a program. For that some security issues should be available in there. Then trustworthy software sources. So there are thousands of software sources are available nowadays in internet. So we should not use any of this trusted source, any of these sources. Okay, so we have to use those trusted sources from where have to use that software. Okay, so however, if we are record those well-known software products, okay, so yet we buy software products every day without even mind their sources. So most important that we do not care about the quality of the software. So we just want a free things, want a free software. So if we download that free softwares, in those free software, security issues are possible. Security problems could be possible. So we should not download those software in any type of from anywhere, from any resources. We have to download the software from trusted resources. Then even if we want to trace the authorship of the software product, even we want to trace the company who developed that software, sometimes it could be not possible, because some companies who develop that software may be out of the market for 1 or 2 days, so you can't trace them. So chance like that, when a software product is 2 years old, the producer is likely to be out of the business. So you can trace those companies who build that software, because nowadays anyone are going to build that software, anyone building those applications. So we should not use any type of software. Instead, we have to download those software from a trusty websites. Okay, then the growth of the internet, and this is one more thing. The growth of the internet and the escalating cost of software products have led many small in-house software developers. So what I was saying, that due to the growth of the internet is growing every day, and in that internet, everyone is trying to be a software engineer. So everyone developing software, and they are dispatching the software and internet. So in those cases, they use internet like a like a laboratory to test their software, whether the software is working or not. So those type of softwares are not well built. Those software, if you use those software, so their security issues may come. Okay, so we should not download or use any type of software which is untrusted, from any untrusted source. We have to use software from trusted source. We have to actually buy the software. Okay, so that is the problem. Then poor security management. So security management is most important things. So security management is both as a technical and administrative security. Okay, so like in a company, the security management is not it is the technical and the administrative, both of the parties should look after that security management. Okay, so that involves security policies. Different types of security policies should be applied. Okay, and control that the organization decides to put in place to provide the required level of protection. So both the management team and the technical team, administrative team, both the teams should work together to imply different types of security. The most effective way to meet those goals is to implement security risk assessment. So most effective way thus we can check whether the security meets our requirements or not, to do a security assessment or risk assessment through a security policy, and securing access to network resources through the use of firewalls and strong cryptography. So we should use firewalls and strong cryptography to secure our softwares. So these and other offer the security requires for the different information system in the organization in terms of integrity, confidentiality, and availability. So we already know that there are three pillars in a security: that is integrity, confidentiality, and availability of a system. So integrity means what? The data should not be it must be that is whatever the information we have, it should be confidential. It should not be accessed by unauthorized access, and it must not be changed. Integrated means it must not be changed by unauthorized user. It should be, the data should be intact. And availability means the data should be available to the user who are legitimate. So the information should be available. Suppose I am in an organization, so I should be able to access those data. Okay. uh, so these are the things we have to take care of during designing a software. Then security management by itself is a complex process. Actually, managing the security is a very complex process, because we have to take care of many things together. So however, if it is not well organized, if that security management, if it is not organized wellly, then it can be a result a nightmare in an organization. So because due to the security issues, many softwares are getting failed. So we have to understand, we have to take that very seriously, and we have to implement those security policies in a software. And another thing is incorrect implementation. So incorrect implementation very often is a result of incompatible interfaces. So I have already discussed these things. Incorrect implementation means two product modules. Whenever we develop a software modules, so those software modules must be work together, must be compatible with each other. If those two modules, when we join these two modules together, if there is any flaws in between this, so then security issues may come due to that problem, due to that interface. So the module should be compatible with each other. So an incompatible interface, on the other hand, means that the introduction of the module has changed the existing interface in such a way that existing references to the interface can fail or behave incorrectly. So if two modules, if we join those two modules, and if those two modules are not compatible with each other, then some problems will occur. So security issues will be occur in that. So for that case, we have to understand which module is compatible with which module, and how, and after attaching those modules, you have to test it properly. The internet technology vulnerabilities. So the fact that computer and telecommunication technologies have developed such a amazing and frightening speed, because nowadays, due to internet and technology, telecommunication technology is increasing very rapidly. So people have overwhelmed by embrace both of them, has caused security experts to worry about. So people are using everything so rapidly, everything so instantly. So it is a very important issue. So it could be a side effect, like uh, overwhelming development of the technology. So that much speedy the technology is involving, that people are also embracing each and everything without knowing what is the actual working of each and everything. That is the problem. Then internet technology has been and continues to be vulnerable. And as we know that internet is a very vast platform, and vulnerability is a simple thing in an internet, so the common thing in an internet. So there have been reports of all sorts of loopholes. So there are so many loopholes and so many weaknesses, and the hackers, the attackers are developing or finding out those loopholes every day. So we have to be prepared for each and everything. So no one knows how many of these vulnerabilities. So actually no one knows how many vulnerabilities are available in internet. So there are both in software and hardware could be possible. The vulnerability could be possible in both software and hardware. So the assumption is that, so there are thousands of problems are there, so which is discovered by the attackers every day. So according to the along with the attackers, so they are developing their how they can uh, attack our system. So along with the attackers, we have to be also ready to avoid those problems, to avoid the attackers. To So changing nature of the hackers, technologies, and activities. So as you know that useful technology, along with the useful technology. Okay, so along with the useful technologies, bad technology is also involving. So the speed of the bad technology is much more than useful technology. Okay, so uh, s- uh, so that in fact there are times when it looks like hackers technologies are developing faster. So nowadays it looks like that hackers technology is developing faster uh, compared to useful technologies. So we have to be prepared for each and every problems and each and every attacks uh, done by the attacker. So one thing is clear, though the hacker technology is flourishing, so hackers technology, that is the bad technology, is increasing as well as so with that reference we have to also increase our useful technology also to to and stop those attacks. Then difficulty of fixing vulnerable system. So there are some difficulty of fixing the vulnerability in a system. What are those difficulty? It is difficult to fix known system vulnerable. As the numbers of vulnerability rises, systems and network administrator face a difficult situation. So as the vulnerability, as the problems, as the weakness rises in a system, so it is very hard to a administrator to identify those problems. So they are challenged with keeping up with all the system they have and all the patches released those systems. So every time the patches are released in a software, new patches are released to overcome those problems, overcome those vulnerabilities. So we have to keep track of all those patches when they are released, and we have to implement those patches in a software day to day. So patches can be difficult to apply. So sometimes those patches could be very difficult to apply. Sometimes there are some adverse effect of installing those patches in a software also. So besides this problems between the time of vendor release, sometimes it occurs that the attacks happen and then the vendor release the patches. So in that cases it is a very difficult thing. So vendors are releasing that security patch after the attack, so it is not in use. So we have to be prepared as we know that bad things are flourishing, as well as we have to keep track of the good things accordingly. So there are several factors affecting quick fixing patches. So sometimes it is possible that some security patches are developed, but it is mailed to a developer, but developer doesn't notice that patch. They can notice it after 2 or 3 years. So for implementation, those patches in a software, so there could be late. Okay, so for if there is any late to install those new patches in a software, then vulnerability obviously there, so the attackers could attack this. So these are the things we have to these are the things difficulties to fixing the vulnerabilities that we have faced. So to identify the risk, to identify the problems in a system, we have to do vulnerability assessment. So what do you mean by vulnerability assessment? It is means that to identify the and track the risk and to repair the vulnerability of the system. So the items, assortments of items that are checked by the process in a system under review various depending on the organization. It may include all desktop, server, router, and the firewall. So that vulnerability issue could be anywhere. It could be available. It could be found in anywhere in desktop. It could be in server. In routers and as well as in firewall also. So we have to we have to do a regular assessment test for vulnerability analysis. So most vulnerability assessment service will provide system administrator with network mapping and system fingerprint of all knows vulnerability. So at least we can do one thing, that what are the vulnerability, knows weaknesses, we can take measures, take steps before. And what are the new vulnerabilities that are occurring? For that purpose, we can developing technologies, developing new patches for the softwares, and we have to install those patches in a regular manner. So a complete vulnerability analysis and ranking of all exploitable weaknesses based on potential impact and the likelihood of occurrence for all services on each host. So we have to prioritize all the problems and misconducts. So according to those priorities, we have to rank the weakness. So if the priority is much more, then we have to like analyze those problems, analyze those weaknesses, why those weaknesses are coming, and how we can solve those problems. After analyzing the vulnerabilities, so to analyze those vulnerabilities, there are so many softwares are available. So by using those software, we can analyze those vulnerabilities, and after analyzing those vulnerability, we have to create one report of everything. So a final report should be developed. Why the report is necessary? Because documentation is also important along with the activities, because by referring those documentation in future, we can understand that what are the risks that we have faced, and what are the measures we have taken, and according to this we can plan our future assessment. Okay, so one report must be prepared according to the analysis. Then vulnerability assessment service, due to the massive growth of number of companies. So there are in internet, as the vulnerability, the risks are increased, as well as risk analysis companies. So those companies who provide us those software, who can analyze the vulnerabilities, are also more. So due to the massive growth of the number of companies and organizations owning their own networks. So there are so many companies who have owned their own networks. So growth of vulnerability monitoring technologies are also increasing. So intrusions and attacks with virus and worldwide publicity of such attacks, there is a growing number of companies offering system vulnerability service. So there are so many companies which can provide us vulnerability scanning and all. So among those services, there are some services which are available in vulnerability scanning, like there are Alien Vault, USM, like Qualys Cloud Platform, like Barsuite, then NetSpark, and between the NetSpark is good. Then Amazon Inspector, IBM Security. So these are the different types of security which are available. Vulnerable assessment services are available, so we can use any of them. Advantage of vulnerability assessment service. What are the advantages? So actually, what are the advantage means by using those services, we can identify the problems in a specific system, identify the flaws, weaknesses in specific system, like what are the ports, what are the IPs from which different types of requests are coming, and if from suppose one unknown sources, different types of requests are continue coming, then we have to identify that, we can identify that source, and we can according to this we can take the steps. Okay, so it is very important to time to time we have to assess the vulnerability in a network. So actually actually always do provide a development signature and updates for new vulnerabilities. So, and one more thing, whatever the software we are using as a vulnerability analysis, we have to update it regularly. Why updation? Because as we have discussed about that, uh, day by day, the new virus, new problems, new risks are coming. Okay, so attackers are finding new ways to attack. Okay, so according to this new patches are also coming. So for this purpose, those software must be updated. So due to the updation, those patches are installed in the software, and software can be that can be those software can mitigates those attacks, new attacks. Okay, so that's why those uh, software should be automatically, it should be updated every time. Okay. Okay, thank you. And now there is one tool for vulnerability analysis which is called Nessus. So we'll see how that tool works. Okay, so I'll tell you how we can use that vulnerability assessment tool, Nessus. So let me show you where we can download this specific tool. So as I mentioned that there are so many tools are available. So in between that, Nessus is more popular in use actually, and in Nessus you can have some free scans also. So you can use as a personal way and as well as in an organization. Okay, so if you use Nessus as a personally, you can use it as a free software. Otherwise, if you are involved in an organization, so you can also buy that Nessus. So let me close that one. In Google, just you have to type Nessus. Nessus download. So after entering, so Nessus is provided by Tenable company. So you can go to www.tenable.com. So this is the site. So here you can see that Nessus Essential is there, Nessus Professional is there, and Tenable.io. This unlimited access also available. So this is the free version in which you
Sir,
are allowed
sorry to
to.
interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt. Sir, we are not able to see your screen. You have, it is blank actually.
Not showing.
No, no. You have to share your screen. Close this
Okay,
PPT and share your start share
okay, okay.
screen.
One second.
The first option. Go to share and share your screen.
Is it visible right now?
No, no, no. The first option, sir. Actually, I'll just make you again. Just click on share button and first one, the first whatever is there comes no screen. You have to share that screen first button.
Okay, okay, okay. Got it.
Yes, yes. Now this is visible. Can you please explain from first onwards?
Okay, of course, of course. So to download Nessus tool, you have to write Nessus download in Google and then search. So here you can see that Nessus is provided by Tenable. So go to that site. So after going to that site, you can see that now it is visible, right, sir? Is it visible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So here you can see that there is three version of Nessus. One is Nessus Essential version, another one is Professional, another one is Unlimited. So for private use, you can that is the free version of Nessus, so which can scan 16 pieces, up to 16 pieces IPs. Sorry, 16 IPs you can scan. So we have to download this from here. As I have already downloaded this and it requires time to download. So here you have to register by giving the first name, last name, and email ID, and after then you have to register. Okay, so as for example, okay, after registering, here you can see download Nessus. So go to the download page. Okay, so here you can see that there are different types of for a different environment Nessus is available. So you can take any of these according to your OS. And I have already installed. Mine is Windows 10, so I have already installed this one. So after then, one key will be provided to your Gmail. So like um, Nessus Essential. So one mail will be there. So here there is a activation key, so you'll get that activation key. So this activation key is required after installing. You have to put that activation key to start the functionalities. So after, you can download this from here directly. You can download this and you can install this. Okay, so okay, so after installing I am uh, going to my command prompt. So we have to give the command netcat. So it will provide all the ports and IPs that available here. So you can see all the ports and IPs. So actually you can see here that different types of ports are there. So my Nessus is always working in this port 8834. Okay, so 8834 is the port by which Nessus is listening. So we have to use this port 8834. It will be always 8834. Okay, so mm, first open your web browser. Okay, so one more thing, you have to identify the IP address of your own system. So IP config. Okay, so using, so here this is my IP address. So you have to put that IP address in the browser, then colon, and then that the port by which the Nessus is listening, that 8834 port. Okay, so after entering this screen will be appear. So here you can have to give the you have to give the username and password. Okay, so this is the Nessus site. So here you can see there are different types of tools are available. So first of all, you have to understand what are the things are there. So uh, go to my account. From here, go to my account. So here you can see about the Nessus. The version is there. Okay, so here you can see all every informations, plugins and all. Activation code is also there. Okay, so then go to the advanced. So about there are other things also available. You can see that software updates. So you can update it. You can set the update like update all components and only update the plugins and all. Frequency when to update and all. Then password, you can set a master password for this. Okay, setting master password protects the encryption key used for ciphering the policies. So you can set a master password for this. Then if we go to the advanced portion, then you can see what are the things are available. Okay, then user interface and scannings are also there. Okay, then logging, performance, security, miscellaneous things, everything will be available there. Then proxy server, if you are using any proxy server, so you can I'm not using any proxy server, so if you are using any proxy server, you can provide the details here. So then smtp servers like here all the logs, all the scanning documents, the Nessus will send to your email id. So here you can provide the smtp service here. So it will directly mail you. Okay, then yeah, certificate is there, password management is there. So password, you can set the password and all. Then you can see the scanning health from here. Okay, so Nessus memory, how much memory to use, CPU load and all. So now we are not using this one, so here it is showing 0. Then notification, so there is nothing here right now. So these are the things. Then I'm directly go to the scanning. So if you want to scan, so go to the scan folder, then go to new scan. Okay, first go to the scan folder, then go to new scan. So here in new scan, you can see there are different types of scanner is available. Here you can see host discovery. So actually that Nessus is helpful if you install it in server. So in that server, different clients are connected. Okay, so if Nessus is installed in that server, so you can monitor each and every client. By using their IP address, you can scan each and every client. So in host discovery part, so you can discover what are the hosts are connected with your computer and all. Okay, then there are other facilities are available like basic network scan is there, advanced scan is there, advanced dynamic scan is there, malware scan is there, mobile device scan is there. Okay, so the different applications are available here. So you can see some of the applications are not available in a free version. Okay, so here you can see there are many applications are available. So right now we'll see one basic network scan. So go to that basic network scan. So in that you have to give the name of the scan. So the name would be anything. It is not important. Like scanning or something, and you can put the description of the scan, in which PC you are scanning, for what you are scanning, etc. Here you can put the description, then folder where the scan report will be stored. So this is a my scan, actually here it will store. So you can create your own scan folder here. Then you have to give the target here. Okay, so here you can see, so you can give multiple targets here by using commas. You can see in the example, you can see here the multiple target using comma you can provide. So right now I am giving my own computer's IP 116. Okay, and if you also add files here, actually suppose you have all IPs, list of all IPs in a sheet, so you can directly upload the IP sheet here. Then it will scan all the IPs. Then here go to here you can go to launch. So here you can see it is scanning. It will not take much time. So you can use nmap also. There is nmap also, and nessus is also there. There is a difference in between nmap and nessus. You have to understand that nmap is like you just only monitoring only. Using nmap you can just analyze those things. What are the things, what are the packets are coming in, all. So you just only analyze. But using nessus you can analyze as well as understand what are the risks, or what are the affected areas, and how we can uh, you know it will take. So let us examine our previous scan result. It will taking time. So here you can see I have examined that 172 to 16.0.1. So after scanning, here you can see that one host I have scanned. Then here you can see that vulnerability levels. So this is the yellow means medium, then blue means information, then low is green, then this one critical is there. So you can see these are the vulnerabilities, these are the problems. So you can directly go to that 4. So after going to that, you can see there are some levels are there. Like this is the mixed risk SSL multiple issues. So suppose we are going to that this one. So here you can see that medium risk are there. So SSL certificate cannot be trusted. So let us see what is the problem. So here you can see the description that SSL certificate cannot be trusted. So you can see the whole description, what are the things, what are the problem is there. Totally you can see that everything you can see, and here you can also see the severity is medium, ID is this, version, type, family and all, everything is there, published and modified. Then solution, you can see here the solution purchase or general proper SSL certificate. Okay, so there is a SSL certificate, you all know that because they are not secure then. So SSL, if it is HTTPS, SSL certificate is there. so it will be secured. So here you can say that purchase or general purpose SSL certificate. So if you want to see or explore more about this, so go to this part, go to these links. So here you can see much more elaborately about the problems. Okay, so here you can see the outputs in details. The following certification has at the top of the certificate chain sent by the remote host, but it is signed by an unknown certificate authority. That's why not secured it is. So temporary self-signed certificate. So we can see here. And you can also see here different versions are also available. CVSS versions. So if you want to know more, so you can see those versions one after another. Okay, so let us get back to our. So it is still scanning. So there, this is another scanning result. So you can see one high security issues there. So let us see that issue. First you have to go to that Oracle TSN. So here you can see the description of the problem. The remote Oracle TNS listener allows service registration. So here you can see every information. Then there is a solution. Apply the Oracle advisory, and there are more informations are available there. So if you want to if you want to know more details about, so here you can see CVE files. So you have to go to that CVE files for detailed description. So if you go to that CVE file, so here you can see CVE file details. So in details they will tell you what are the problems. Okay, and here you can see reference, what are the reference you can refer. Then how we can known effect of software configuration, what are the problems. Okay, so by using that hyperlinks you can get more details about the problems.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
That lab session is also mine. So I have explained the basic activities. So you can go to that Nessus, okay, and you can explore more about this. So if you have any questions, you can ask.